Hey, what's going on, everybody? Justin here, and welcome back to another Lazy Sunday book review. And today we got a really cool, interesting, sort of niche topic little book here. Actually, I say little book, it's actually one of the kind of bigger sized books that I own now. And it is American Axe, The Tool That Shaped a Continent by McLeod. And I want to thank Story Publishing for agreeing to my request and sending me out a copy of this, because this is just a really cool, interesting book. For those who don't know, I do live in kind of a very, I say very, like an extremely rural part of the country in northern rural Maine, like literally out in the sticks, in the woods. Like for just, as an example here, I think the population density of my town is like 6 people per square mile or something along those lines. So anyways, I definitely live kind of, like I said, out in the sticks, so I make a lot of campfires and things of that nature, and use an axe quite a bit, like especially during the kind of summer and fall times and whatnot. So when I saw this, I was like, no, that is like super cool. I have several axes like in the basement and the garage and stuff, and I actually got this like hatchet here for Christmas, just to kind of like show my enthusiasm for axes and whatnot. But this is like kind of a hatchet based on like a Norse shipbuilder design that I asked for Christmas, and someone was able to get it to me. So I think that's pretty cool. But weapons aside, like I said, I'm just really pleased that Story Publishing agreed to send this to me out. So definitely thank you to them. And as you could probably guess, this book is all about axes. And what's kind of cool about this that I found is it's like got how-tos, and it's also got like a ton of like kind of in-depth academic info, and then it's kind of got like general histories and stuff, but it's got like a little bit of everything. Like if you're like kind of an axe enthusiast, like I'm not an axe collector per se, but even that portion of like, axe fandom is like in the book as well. It's got like a little smattering of everything you'd like want to know about axes. Like I said, I was really interested in kind of the history of axes, and that kind of started, it has a little brief kind of overview of like ancient axes from like even like the Stone Age down to sort of the present, obviously with a big sort of focus on hand forged axes, I guess you'd say, and kind of the whole golden era of axe use in North America, primarily kind of in like the New England region, but also including Canada, and obviously when pioneers and stuff started going out west, especially in the Northwest and whatnot, axes were obviously a very important tool for cabin making, and just having around like your like in the settle, or well, your little homestead and stuff. An axe was one of your primary like tools of life, essentially. So it's kind of got like a little history of that. So kind of dealing from like the 1700s down to like about like 1900, before like super mass manufacturing of axes sort of takes place, is covered, and I thought that was really fun to learn about. Obviously, living in Maine, the New England emphasis doesn't bother me at all. But what's actually really cool too is like towards the beginning, you get kind of the description, or the sort of how like a hand forged axe is actually made nowadays with like kind of modern blacksmithing techniques and stuff. And what's really cool is there is like one company in Maine that still like kind of like hand makes or hand blacksmiths axes still. So they use them as sort of the prototype and everything. Like as you can probably tell, like I got excited just because like Maine gets like a really good like kind of focus in here, just because we have the state of Maine definitely has like a big like, kind of logging and like kind of lumberjack history and whatnot. So I'm on the lookout for an Allagash cruiser now. But anyways, the book is just lavishly decorated with all these like photographs and stuff, some illustrations, as you can see. It kind of goes in like a lot of like kind of the nitty gritty stuff, the different parts of an axe, like I said, how it's made, kind of the differences in different kinds of axes. And also there's if I could find it, there is a kind of a big description on like what kind of different axes, like the different blades, like what they're used for and that sort of stuff. And as you can see, for example, here's like one of the little how-tos, just kind of going through it. You have like how to actually properly fell a tree, like especially if you were a lumberjack in the 1800s, the proper like techniques and kind of ways of doing it and whatnot. So I think that's just really cool. For example, another how-to that I found really interesting was how to make an actual proper like large campfire, like the actual way you should go about splitting the wood, and then also how you should stack it and whatnot. It's just a lot of fun quirky stuff like that. I thought was really cool. About half the book is like kind of the sort of kind of like lore and histories, and kind of stuff like that. And then there's another sort of big section of the book, especially for axe collectors. I'll show you as an example. And it shows you kind of like really famous axes, and different companies that made axes, and kind of like what to look out for, and like kind of what models and styles to try and like collect if you're into that. Cleaning and like kind of resharpening axes is also like one of the little how-tos. Throwing axes is just kind of like a fun little game, and he explains sort of the rules and whatnot. I don't know, just overall, I thought this was kind of just a really cool book, looking at a whole bunch of different things, just about, just for anyone who's like an axe enthusiast, you're gonna find something in here. Fortunately, none of my axes. I thought I was crossing my fingers. I had like some kind of really cool vintage axe, but unfortunately, I do not. Just from what I was able to find and whatnot. The only critique I would say with the book is maybe have a little more kind of a little higher text to picture ratio. Obviously, the pictures are really, really nice, really high quality photographs and everything. I just thought maybe a little bit more text would have helped to support, just how much imagery we have kind of going on here. And then another like little nitpicky thing might have been just to have some sort of like, I don't know, some sort of major checklist of like all the major like kind of prominent like axe making companies from like the 1800s and early 1900s, before the mass market sort of industrialized axes sort of took over. Though he does provide some resources like online and stuff, some really probably the most like legitimate like kind of axe enthusiasts like websites and forums and that sort of thing. So I guess in that sense, it is sort of covered. But overall, definitely really, really impressed with this book. Maybe in like the springtime when the snow melts and everything, I might go ahead and kind of do like a little tutorial on how to actually make like a proper campfire using some axes that I have and everything. Kind of like show off the book again, something like that. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this review. Once again, big thank you to Story Publishing for sending me that book. Really cool addition to kind of like my like woodsman. I wouldn't say like my survival. I'm not like a super survival enthusiast or anything like that. But I do have like kind of some like outdoor living sections, So this is definitely a good addition to that sort of aspect of my library. So I thought that was really cool. Anyways, made this far into the video, don't forget to check out let's see, my Twitter, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. And if you want to support the channel, best way to do that is to head over to my Etsy shop and maybe give my shop a like, favorite some items, things like that. Give it a good look. I really appreciate that for everyone who's done that already. And let's see, what have you ever used an axe either to like knock over a tree or to split some kindling for firewood, anything like that? Let me know in the comments down below, because I know a lot of people that live in the city don't get to do stuff like that as often. So yeah, I just want to hear what you guys have to say, because like I said, during the summertime I use an axe like every week at least, like minimum like once a week. So I think it might be kind of cool just to see how much you guys are using axes and whatnot. But thank you all so much for watching. And let's see, I was trying to think of a cool catchphrase to like, whether you're like swinging an axe or reading a book, that wasn't gonna make any sense. But anyways, whatever you end up reading, whether it's about axes or not, read victoriously.